Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good day, everyone. My name is Ahmad Firdaus, and today I want to end talking about some places I visited in Asia. But along the way, I'll explain some of the other journeys and experiences. Well, who likes traveling? Believe it or not, there's only a small percentage of young people who like traveling. What's my source for that? Well, I often take student surveys, and that's my source. Who likes mountains? Who likes beaches? My first experience in Asia was back in 2012. I needed a much-deserved vacation from so much work in America. And I've always held the idea deep in my cranium that there must be a better experience than living in the #1 country in the world. So I came to Indonesia after visiting South Korea and visited a few places like Cilacap, Jogja, Purwokerto, Bandung, Jakarta, Ancol. So I went back to America after that vacation, and then I visited Oklahoma, Kansas, South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, Oregon, Colorado, New Mexico, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Georgia, the Carolinas, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, West Virginia, Maryland, the District of Columbia, Tennessee, and Mexico. I'd met a woman through Facebook, and then when I came back to Indonesia in 2015, I met my long-distance relationship for the first time in person then, and we were married. We went on our honeymoon in Kuala Lumpur. Then shortly thereafter, we visited some waterfalls in Bogor. We liked it so much. The next month, my wife and I asked my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law to join us to visit another waterfall of the name Curug Cigentis. We traveled by motorcycle past Cikarang to go all the way towards the southwest, nearly to Karawang. Later in December of 2017, after our son was born, we went to Thousand Islands, Pulau Seribu. We stayed there for only one night. We didn't bring Tesla because he was so small. We had left the house in the early morning at around 5 a.m. to go all the way to the harbor in North Jakarta. We took a ship to cross to Harapan Island and needed 4 hours to get there. When we arrived there, we had lunch with a group of people who joined us for the trip. And by 1 o'clock, we took a small motorboat to visit some small islands around there. The first stop was in Tongkang Island. And the second one, I forgot the name, but that was by the one where we went snorkeling. The last one was Dolphin Island, which has crystal clear water and white sand. So beautiful. We came back to the guest house in Harapan. We could feel our bodies were so sunburnt. So we settled in and had some dinner. Actually, the food there wasn't expensive at all. The masjid was right next to the house, so we were never late to pray. So then we ate rice, some veggies, spiced potatoes, tempeh, egg, and drank lots of iced tea. And that was only 15,000 rupiah. Isn't that awesome? In 2018, we went to Bali, Canangan, and Lombok Islands. This time, my cousin Andrea had come from America to visit us and our family. So I decided that since Tesla was still so young, to invite my mother-in-law to join us. To be honest, I didn't really enjoy this travel because the villa we stayed in had advertised that they had hot water for showering. But I found out the hard way that it was not functional. Above the front of the villa, the power lines were not installed correctly. So the lines arced against the insulators, always making a 55 hertz buzzing sound. The motorcycles there are really noisy too, and there were way too many of them there. In the evening, we could hear the pigs being slaughtered. They squealed so loudly. But after a few days there, we took a 2 or 3 hour trip to Gili Island. We stayed there several nights in Gili Air. What a peaceful island. We did lots of bicycling everywhere and also did a lot of walking. We had lots of beach time because every island we went to, we visited each beach. Finally, in December of 2018, we went to Jogja, then through Solo and Saragan. Yes, we visited Gunung Merapi and found a lovely place to eat called Jajamoran, a famous and still growing restaurant where they make so many dishes of choice mushrooms for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We actually loved it so much. We ate there 3 times. We took a bus to Solo and a car to Tesla's great-grandmother's house, where she's lived there since the 60s. A few days later, we were supposed to catch a scenic journey on a train coming back to Bekasi. But due to the traffic, we missed the train. Because I had to be back to Bekasi soon, we had to book a flight. We were happy we didn't have grandmother with us, even though we thought about nabbing her, because the journey was becoming unpredictably expensive. So for our next journey, we plan to visit Puncak, go to Jogja again, and perhaps hit Surabaya. I still want to visit the megalithic sites of Gunung Padang between Sukabumi and Bandung, and also Aceh. If you plan to travel, be sure to plan on the unexpected, especially if you're on a tight budget. You can do it, but you must be prepared. Go on, go see the world. Have fun, and I'll be pleased to have you if you can visit us next time here on the channel. Have a wonderful evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I turn it with a sickle, pitchfork, and machete. The end of the world, and you not ready. The point of no return, and nobody can stop it. Malcolm Little running up before Elijah Muhammad. The comet killed dinosaurs, changing the earth. They love to criticize when this AI change for the worse. Like prescription pills when you're misusing them. Into nights when they took Jerusalem and figured out what was buried underneath Solomon's temple in Alaska. The name is not coincidental. I know too much. The government is trying to murder me. No coming back like cutting your wrist open vertically. How could you be purposefully put in charge of the country? Genetic engineering sickness spread amongst me. My people are so hungry and they attack without reason, like a dog ripping off the hand that feeds them. Immortal Technique is treason to the Patriot Act to come and get me, because I'm not coming back. This is the point from which I could never return. And if I back down now, then forever I burn. This is the point from which I never retreat, because if I turn back now, there can never be peace. This is the point from which I will die and succeed. Live and struggle. I know I'm alive when I bleed. From now on, it can never be the same as before, because the place I'm from doesn't exist anymore. This point of turn, better believe it. Mary Magdalene gave birth to Prophet Isa. The evolution of the world, bloody and dramatic. Human beings killing monkeys to conquer the planet. The kingdoms of Africa, Mesopotamia, machine gunning your body with depleted uranium. This is the age of microchips and titanium. The dark side of the moon with contact with aliens. I started out like Australians, criminal-minded, broke into hell, tore it down, and built a city behind it. Southpaw, murderous mythology.
remember that I'm just a man and don't follow me. Because once you're in the past point, you can't ever go home. You got to face the possibility of dying alone. So tell me, how could you die for the throne when you don't even got enough to die for your own? It rains acid. One day Earth will cry from a stone, and you'll be looking at the world living inside of a dome. Computerized humanity living inside of a clone. This is the place where the unknown is living and real. One went to planet X in the seventh seal. Universal truth is not measured in mass appeal. This is the last time that I kneel to pray the sky, because almost everything I was told is a lie. Point from which I could never return. If I back down now, I'll forever I burn. This is the point from which I could never retreat, because if I turn back now, there can never be peace. This is the point from which I will die and succeed, live and struggle, and know I'm alive when I bleed. From now on, it can never be the same as before, because this is the place I'm from. This is no more. Uh, uh. Thank you.